Scandal rocks HP and its CEO steps down.
RIM unveils its iPhone killer, the BlackBerry Torch. This and a lot more on the High Tech Countdown. Hi, I'm Shane Schick, Editor-in-Chief of IT World Canada.
And I'm Paul Dunningblatter, the editor of CDN Computer Dealer News. Shane, I can't believe I came into the office today and Mark Hurd stepped down. He resigned as HP CEO after claims of a sexual harassment with a contractor. That contractor ended up being reality TV star, if you can believe that, Jodie Fisher. And she issued this statement. I was surprised and saddened that Mark Hurd lost his job over this. That was not my intention. Very short, but what do you make of this?
Well, it's really sad. I mean, Mark Hurd was never the charismatic leader that, Carly Fiorina or some of her predecessors were at HP. He didn't necessarily have the same kind of public persona that I think others in the industry might have expected from somebody of his stature. But behind the scenes, you really can't argue with a lot of his success. He consistently identified struggling companies that were ripe for acquisition that actually bolstered HP, whether that was EDS or Mercury Interactive, 3Com, the list goes on. He's made HP in 5 years a really different company. It's going to be a loss to them.
I absolutely agree. HP is a powerhouse, and it's because of him. The other thing they also did, he made them efficient as a workforce. He cut down, he streamlined that business, and it's been working amazingly well. This is actually good news for competitors like Dell and Cisco, and it's really a shocking story. This is stuff for TMZ, not for our publications, but wow, what a morning.
The big news out of Waterloo was the launch of Research in Motion's latest BlackBerry, the Torch, featuring the new BlackBerry OS 6. Let's take a look. The Torch is a hybrid BlackBerry with a QWERTY keyboard and a 3.2-inch touchscreen. It was developed by RIM's mobile operator AT&T and is priced at $200 a year on a 2-year deal. The Torch offers 3.5G connectivity along with 802.11b, G, and N Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and a 5-megapixel camera. The standard QWERTY input has SureType.
The reviews that have come out with this right now have been pretty mixed, but I really like the product from what I saw. The keyboard that slides down is what businesses really want. They still like the keyboard. I spoke to one international user of the BlackBerry, and he thinks this is ideal for business. Now, will it be an iPad killer? I mean, who knows? I almost hate that term, iPad killer. We've been using it to death. But I think this is definitely a step up. You have to go touchscreen, no doubt about that. And I think this is very promising.
I think the proof will be is if in a year or so somebody starts talking about a torch killer.
We'll see. Shane, Mike Lazaridis, the co-CEO of RIM, made a big deal about the Torch's universal search feature. Now, this feature lets you find contacts, files, and internet stuff in just one entry. Let's take a look at what Mike said at the Torch launch event in New York.
There's something called universal search, and it really defines this product. You see, you just open it up and start typing on that keyboard. And it searches your BlackBerry, it searches feeds, it searches your email, whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for a new setting, just type settings. If you're looking for email, just type email. If you're looking at email from a certain person, type their name. And it presents you your choices as icons on the top, and you just touch the one you're looking for.
Well, I think that the idea of mobile search is still kind of an untapped category in many ways. It's not something that I think any clear market leader has been identified. Whether it'll be a differentiator for the Torch, I think will in part depend on how well the device is received by, the intended audience. But if there was any place where, a company like RIM could make some significant headway and maybe, set itself apart from the Apples of the world, I think this kind of search would be great.
I think it's a great feature, but it's not really new. I mean, Palm had this a while ago. For me, it's all about business applications. I think that's where RIM's strong point is, and I think that's what really is going to differentiate the company from the rest.
Intel has reached a proposed settlement with the U.S. Federal Trade Commission over the antitrust investigation that the chipmaker has been under for the last several years. The agreement would specify that Intel could no longer behave in practices in which it would give certain companies benefits for using its computer chips.
I read the settlement the other day, Shane, and supposedly Intel does not have to admit to any wrongdoing. And, HP and Dell and all the other vendors have been, putting out products with AMD-powered processors for a long time now. So I really don't see how this is a big deal. I mean, the marketplace wants choice, and I think the vendors have given them choice. Now, Intel is sort of a monopoly, and they do use that to their advantage. But really, the marketplace has responded with overwhelming support of Intel. I believe they have 80% market share, and I think it's like almost 95% in Canada. So the market has dictated that they like Intel products over the others.
I don't know if I agree. I think that the pressures that they were allegedly putting on these OEMs, either, it's kind of like the old days of radios and DJs where it was kind of pay for play. If you
Payola,
wanted to,
right?
Yeah, and I think that we have to do anything we can to discourage that. I mean, yeah, maybe the marketplace has accepted Intel, but in part because it's been so difficult for its competitors to get the kind of real estate, if you will, on those desktops or those other machines. So I think that the settlement is great. I think it also shows that there is such a thing as bad PR. It doesn't look good for a supposed industry leader.
Okay, back to RIM. They're having some problems in some Middle Eastern and Asian countries, and they could face suspension because their product is really so secure that countries like Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, and now the United Arab Emirates may want to ban them. What do you think about this?
Well, from what I understand, one of the issues was that the countries where the potential bans would take place want better access to some of the corporate information that RIM would have established. But according to a story, I think it was in the Global Mail not very long ago, said that only 10% of the data that's in question would be encrypted anyway. So I really don't see, even if RIM capitulated on some of the demands being met, whether it would kind of manage the expectations of some of these countries.
That's the same thing that the person I interviewed about this story. He's a Belgium user of RIM, and he says that really it's out of their control. Now they may want to capitulate just to make these countries happy, maybe bring in a server, maybe open up RIM Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure, but really this looks like they really are using some heavy-handed tactics against RIM. And for something that's really out of their control, it's unfortunate.
Michael Dell is in hot water with two of the biggest trade unions in the world, including the AFL-CIO, which wants to kick him out as chairman, claiming excess pay and a $100 million payout. Michael Dell founded the company in the early 80s. The question is he losing his grip on power?
I'm not sure about this story. Like, if this was 10 years ago when he was anti-channel, I would have, supported his ousting without a doubt. But this is a different Michael Dell and a different Dell computer, and they're a very channel-friendly company these days. I mean, they have their issues just like every other vendor. But let's take a look at his pay, and I think there's a little bit of a disconnect here. Now, in the past 10 years, he's earned $450 million, and the stock has dropped 66%. But those options that he took were expiring. So this is a little bit unfair. Like, what is he supposed to do? Just leave that money on the table? I don't think anybody is going to do that. But it's not unprecedented that a CEO, a founding CEO of a company, loses his job because of the stock being dropped. Do you remember Rod Canyon of Compaq? He got turfed basically for the same reason. So who knows, but I just don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either. All you have to do is look back a couple of years ago when kind of his appointed successor, Kevin Rollins, was running the company. Pretty much a disaster from beginning to end, from a revenue perspective, from a mind share perspective. When you look at the payout that he's getting, you have to look at what the value that the person is bringing to the company. From what I've seen, it sounds like he's worth it.
Shane, Acer has released a computer with two operating systems, the Android operating system and the Windows XP operating system. Now, the Android is just for fast boot up, and then XP runs the computer afterwards. They've been trying to do this for a while, and they finally succeeded. But what does this say to Windows 7 and Linux?
Well, what I think it says is that Acer is acting not necessarily in an innovative way, but maybe an irresponsible way. We actually, for a while, championed the whole XP cause, and we had like a Save XP campaign for a while. But Microsoft has extended and extended that thing. It's moved on to a new platform. I think most people are kind of ready to do that as well, even on the netbook side. The advantages from a boot up perspective, I mean, how much are we really talking in terms of an improved user experience? I don't see the value.
I don't see users, beating a path to Acer dealers across Canada for this specific product. I mean, it's interesting that they were able to accomplish that. I think XP has definitely stood the test of time, but it's time to move on to Windows 7. The thing for me is with Linux. I thought Linux was going to be a big OS for the netbook, and it looks like it hasn't really gotten any play whatsoever.
We don't generally discuss beer companies here, but Molson has recently launched the Seize Your Summer application for your smartphone. It gives you points for doing things like portaging a canoe, eating donuts, and wearing shorts. I guess these are all supposed to be things that pertain to Canadians in summer.
Yeah, I read this, and they also give you points for doing basically nothing. Now, I enjoy summer, and I like wearing shorts, and hopefully we get a new dress code policy soon for wearing shorts during the summer. But in terms of this, I think we have way too many apps for my liking anyways. But, like, I mean, you know, it's the way of the new world. More apps for smartphones, and why shouldn't Molson do this?
I think if you can get points for doing nothing, I should be a winner in no time.
All right, then. Well, that's all there is for me. I'm Paul Dunley for CDN Computer Dealer News. Thanks for watching.
And I'm Shane Schick from IT World Canada. Thanks.